Hello everybody, my name is Alan Lord. To return home to the fortune, there is a figure in the sun. But if the sun bursts to tears to heaven based upon the alignment of time, it will send the sun through. The sun may burst to tears to heaven based upon the machine. The machine is aura based upon the element design for the protocol. The protocol is network 521. The design day 10 is the interlude technology for the position. In that time, it is the co-finder. The execution of law based upon the last message of the compound to position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time there is no way in to look for the code. There is the co-finder. The co-finder will execute the law to heaven based upon the machine. The machine is the aura based upon the co-filer. In the coffee cup of the ball, it will minus the program to send the sun through. The sun may burst to tears to heaven based upon the alignment of time. The alignment of time for the sun will burst to tears to heaven. This is Jupiter. The retimer for the message of the compound to position itself into the acceptance, it will work out the A5, A5, A5. For Dr. T. Sandra, it is the retimer. The retimer to lapsen the area. Any error in relation to Surfunk, it is the equilibrium to share the network of 1. If the oil wave is 3 on 1, 12 on 1, and 5 on 1 by the border, the fifth moon will develop the third technology. In that way, it is the execution of law, the co-finder. You may be plead, PLEA, in relation to the consumption. The consumption of the piranha will listen out the door to heaven based upon the machine. The machine will orate itself into the third performance of the network 5. For the border of the fifth moon, the third development of technology will position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time, there is no one in to look for the code. It is B5F312. For the computer system, the simple thinking pattern is the consumption. The consumption is the touchkadang. The touchkadang. It's hard to process the word processor for the word to find the wave in the sync system. This is for Andy. That's the tablet. In a matter of time, it's called Wavecom. In a matter of time is the element design for the protocol. Each protocol is the minus program Tweetbox. That's his surname. His username. Andy Tweetbox. But anyway, in a matter of time, when you send the sun through, you will burst to tears to heaven based upon the alignment of time for the sun. The sun may burst to tears to heaven based upon the machine. If the machine is bound to F315 by the border, the fifth moon will develop the third technology. In my brother Kung, the message of the compound will position itself into the acceptance. The acceptance is 3C F315. The border of the fifth moon will develop the third technology. In this way is electric bunkang. The electric bunkang is a timer to present itself into a network of 53C. The 40 watts in blue of technology for Voltron is a math position of physics in relation to the hemisphere. Each hemisphere is a co-finder to execute itself into the law to heaven based upon the machine. The machine would array itself into the third performance. The third performance of Network 1 is the oil of the tree. The oil of the tree will confunction the antenna. The antenna of the third technology is the position to position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time, there is no one in to look for the code. It is B5F312. The border of the fifth moon will develop the third technology. In that way, it is the execution of law. The last message of the compound will position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time, there is no one in to look for the code. It is BE1824. The BE1824 by the border of the third moon to develop the third technology is the position of the army for Sector 3. If they decide to do so in relation to Surfunk, it is sharing a network of 3PF315. So, can anyone actually record this quick, this fast as me? Tiring, isn't it? But it's alright. Anyway, okay. In the thinking pattern of the network one is the oil tree and the machine. The machine may bless itself into the third hemisphere for the Pope. The Pope is 3CF, 3CF, 3C. In that way, the co-finder will execute itself into law to heaven based upon the machine. If the machine is B2F315 for the Pope, it is the retimer to execute itself into law to heaven based upon the area. The area is 06090201 for the border of the fifth moon to develop the thinking pattern. The thinking pattern is a console to present itself into network 5. The network 5 is the oil tree in the machine. The machine has been blessed into the element. Each element will send the sun through. If the sun bursts to tears to Heminen, that's what you call it, Heminen, 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 it is the timer. So in the quantum leap, the border of the fifth moon will burst in the Anna, see? When it does that, it will lay itself, Lay, into the hemi. The hemi for the hemorrhoid, no. The hemi for the instrument of law based upon the element will send the sun through. If the sun bursts to tears to heaven based upon God, oh, I got that instrument God. Oh well, next time I'll get some. But anyway, in that way, the element designed for the polymer. In Bali, we have not drawn, but I've drawn some basic stuff in Melbourne for Bali, Bali. Later, when I draw the map of the world, it will be very hard for me to relax the instrument. Each instrument is a pen to know that the ink system will formulate into 2 dots, 3 dot, 4 dot, 5 dot, 10 dot, 10 dot, 3 dots, 2 dot, 9 dot, 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 2 dot, 9 dot. In that way, it is co-finder. The execution of law by the last message of the compound to position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time, there is no one in to look for the code. It is Bart Simpson. The message of the episode 325 for Yoda is 325, for Yoda is 325. The episode of 321 is the co-finder to execute itself into law to heaven. In Yoda, the confunction of the piranha will release him out the door to heaven. But anyway, the co-finder will execute the XPD. The XPD for Dr. T. Sandra is an Instagram of technology to position itself into the acceptance. Once that has been working out to the ball of 1 on 8, 12 on 8, and 10 on 8 by the border, the thick moon will switch off to the mode of the artificial intellectual copyright. The copyright tissue for Neil, Andrew, Slater, and Gordon is a co-finder to execute itself into heaven. But in each heaven it is the Kanganang. The border of the fifth moon will develop the third technology to position itself into the electron. The electron is the Mankanang. The Mankanang is the border of the fifth moon to develop the third technology. In that way, it is execution of law. This is the last message of the compound to position itself into Europe. In each Europe, it is needed to send the sun through. But if the sun bursts to tears to heaven based upon the machine, it is the aura of the retimer. The retimer to execute itself into heaven based upon the machine, it will allay itself into third performance. The network of 5C, 6C, 1C, 8C, 9C, 10C, 4C, 5C, 6C is a timer for the execution of law. The last message of the compound to position itself is the border of the fifth moon. In that way, it is the execution of law. So, Tan, my brother, it is the intercool. The intercool is the third technology. In that way, you need to position yourself into the 69.3.1.2.2.4.6.2.5 for $1. In that time, it is the Alana. The third technology for the position will accept itself into law to heaven for the kitchen god. to equalize the map position of physics, to time-lapse itself into Fae. In Fae, the border of the fifth moon will develop the third technology. In that way, it is the execution. The law to heaven based upon the machine is the aura, to message out the composition. Each composition will time out the lapse of 1 on 8. In European, it is the message of the component. The component is 31825. For Fae, each component is 3125. For Fae, it is 1824. For Fae, it is 1824. The 1824 by the last message of the compound to position itself into the area. The area is 09060102 to send the sun through. But if the core is the marked position of physics, it will transcode itself into the border of the fifth moon to develop the third technology. In this way, and each god is the message of compound to position itself into the sun. The sun may burst to tears to heaven based upon the machine. The magic spell will work out about 3CF319 to border the fifth moon to develop the third technology. In that day it is execution. The timer is 3C. This is Europe. In Europe, the message of the component is 3829. The 3829 for the border of the fifth moon will develop the third technology. In that day it is 10325. The 10325 is by the border of the fifth moon to develop the third technology. In that day it is the co-finder. The co-finder to execute itself into heaven is based upon the machine. The machine is the aura to composite itself into the timer. So, drawing this map will take me time. Take care.